Okay, welcome back to Bounce Around Charleston. And I have with me Ken Harvin, and he's from a group called the South Carolina Association for Community Economic Development. Did I get that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, you sure did.
Well, welcome to Bounce Around Charleston. Tell us what the organization is all about.
Well, the organization is about three things. We do a lot of advocacy work. We do a lot of program work, and we do a lot of capacity building work. And in those three buckets, whether it's at the state legislative, we're advocating for resources for underserved communities, or it's actually in the communities through our members, providing resources and capacity training to strengthen their organization's work on the ground. And so that's what we've been doing for the past 25 years. As I shared earlier, that we are a trade association made up of 150 individual organizations and individuals, from corporations to banks to municipalities to nonprofits. And we all have a mission of focusing on healthy and economic sustainable communities throughout South Carolina, particularly those communities that have been underserved, minority communities not tapped into the mainstream like rural communities. And we've been doing that successfully for 25 years, and we're proud to be here today to talk to you about some of the work that we're doing.
Okay, so tell me, okay, you have an event coming up real soon, am I correct?
Yes, we do. We have what we call our Health Equity Initiative. This initiative is a collaboration of two other partners that we've been working with for years now. One is South Carolina Office of Rural Health, and they're a nonprofit organization with a mission of trying to close the gap in health disparity between rural and urban and minority communities and mainstream communities, where we're trying to address health issues. We also have another partner that we've been working with for the last 15 years, and this is called the South Carolina Rural Resource Coalition. And it's an alliance of 6 sectors that come together quarterly to address issues. And the 6 sectors is unique because they all work collaboratively in this space. And we're talking about agriculture, we're talking about forestry, we're talking about conservation, we're talking about housing, talk about tourism and community. They're all working together to address issues, particularly in this case, in rural communities. And of course, scarcity, who is one of the partners which I work for, which has been around for 25 years doing this work as well. So we're excited to be here with you and to address the health equity issue. What we're doing this year, and we've done in the past, is we've provided grants, if you will, to communities who are interested in developing community gardens. And these gardens are designed really to address the lack of healthy produce in communities. And so this year, we're doing this with South Carolina Office of Rural Health and South Carolina Coalition, Rural Coalition.
So there are grants being offered?
Yes, our objective this year is to offer about 20 single grants to communities to establish community gardens in low wealth and communities across the state.
Now, when you say community garden, explain that.
Well, community gardens is where we have members of the community coming together. They may have an acre lot, they may have a half acre lot, or they may not have a lot at all. They may have just a space where they want to offer, when you say grow fresh produce and vegetables in a space. Now, some do it actually in the soil. Some actually do it what they call a raised garden, where it's not like in the soil itself. It's raised up off the ground, and then you build and so forth. But there's a couple of ways that folks have been designing their community gardens across the state.
So people are being offered these grants to prepare this garden for the community.
Right, that is correct. And the idea is to grow fresh produce and then distribute it in communities where they are challenged, where there's not access to fresh produce on a regular basis because, as you know, we've all been challenged by COVID. There's been a disruption in the food supply chain. And so one way that we think we can address that is actually sustaining ourselves by growing our own food. And we used to do that many years ago. We've gotten away from that. But the movement now, because of what's happening in the country, folks are gravitating by growing their own produce within the community and then distributing it to members in the community.
Okay, so how does a person qualify for this grant?
Well, one, you have to, you can be an entity, a business entity, you could be a farmer, you could be a nonprofit organization, you could be a church, you could be a school. So you can be an entity. And what we're looking for is to fill out an application to say, hey, listen, this is what we like to do. We like to just grow tomatoes and oranges, whatever they like to grow, but then distribute that to the community. And there's an application in which individuals can go online and access that application, very simple application, and then submit it. We'll review it. And if it meets the criteria that's in the application, then we award them funds. We've done that now across the state. About 20 different counties across the state have accessed our funding and are doing quite well.
Okay, so when these gardens are grown, the people from the community just come and just receive the vegetables?
That is correct. That is correct. There's a plan in place by the organizers who's doing it, but essentially that's it. When it's grown, there's a point in time where you're going to harvest it and then distribute it, and that's the idea. But also those who participate in the community garden, they have an opportunity to receive training. So you may like the idea but don't know how to do it. Mm-hmm. And so what we're providing is training and technical assistance with the funding that we give to ensure the success of that garden, right? So we have great partners like Clemson University, and we also have Carolina Farm Steward Association, who will be providing the technical assistance and the training on the ground for those who are interested. So not only you get some funding, but you also get some technical and some training to go along with that to ensure success.
So you just don't receive the grant, but you also get support.
That's right. That's right. That's what we're trying to do here.
Because you have individuals, they may want to do this, but they're not a farmer, so they would not know how to get this going. So you all will provide that help also?
That's right. That's right. That's part of the objective of the grant, is to provide that technical assistance and to provide the training. Part of our funding came from the Center of Disease Control and Prevention. The funding was awarded from the Coronavirus Response and Relief Supplement Appropriation Act by Congress. And so with that initiative, we're saying, hey, we want to bring that to South Carolina, make sure our folks have access to fresh produce. And this is one way that we know has been tested and work.
So where do people go to sign up?
Well, they can visit us at SCACEIT, which is South Carolina Association for Community Economic Development.org. And there you can see on our website community grants. And then you just hit that and it'll provide all the information that one would need. Or again, you can contact me at Ken Harvin at SCACEIT. And we can make sure that you get the application if you don't have access via online.
Okay, and once they do that, you all will contact them to let them know if they qualified for the grant. Am I correct?
That is correct. Our deadline for application submission is January 28th. Once that application is been submitted, we review it, and by February 28th, we hope to have announcements of notifying individuals, organizations that they have been awarded the funds.
Okay, so tell us one more time where people need to go to apply for that grant.
Yes, they can visit us, www.scaceit.org. And it's on our front page, so you can't miss it.
Well, Ken Harvin, we thank you for being on Bounce Around Charleston. And we talked about people that you and I both know. And I know when they see your face on Bounce Around Charleston, they will say, I know that man.
Well, thank you, Randolph. I appreciate that. And it's a good pleasure being here and sharing this information with the community. We do hope that community take advantage of this opportunity to address, again, food insecurities in communities, food deserts around the state. So we think this is an opportunity to address that issue. And we're so pleased that you invited us on to share a few words with them.
Thank you so much. You heard it right here on Bounce Around Charleston. Ken Harvin of the South Carolina Association for Community Economic Development. I like that, SACED. You heard it all right here on Bounce Around Charleston. We'll be right back after this break.